Hello and welcome to Master Gardening. I'm your host Bud Qualk. This is the show where we learn from the masters. And today we've got a good one. Master Gardener Eileen Duobinis-Gray is going to show us her backyard wildlife habitat. So don't go away. I'll be right back. Holy cow, Eileen. How many species of birds do you have? There must be, you got about 20 different bird feeders down there. Who's sponsoring the feed for these people?
Well, I do without other things for myself and feed the birds, but it's one of my passions. We have, I've counted about 46 species of birds that have either lived here or have come through in their migration pattern.
Well, they heard about you and moved from Missouri.
They have.
Yes.
They have.
I saw like 50 finches a while ago.
No. But yeah, the goldfinches live here year round.
We'll get a picture of the shot of them a little bit later, but I know you've got 2 big lakes.
I do.
About 5 acres of woods here, 17 acres on the other side of this. Perfect for a habitat, backyard wildlife habitat. But how many acres does it take to really have an official? We're talking about official here, right?
Yes, we are.
Sign and everything right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many acres does it take?
Basically, you don't have to have any acres at all, but you have to be able to provide 4 basic needs. And it's not really difficult, it's just what you need. You need food, you need water, you need a place to live, and you need a place to procreate, so to speak. So they need a place to raise their young, and they need cover so that they survive their predators, and food and water. So while I have 11 acres on this side of the road here, that actually is the wildlife habitat. At my other house, I only had 6/10 of an acre, and I had a house on that, but I managed to certify that backyard as well.
So just a lot in town would work.
Oh, a lot, and that's what the National Wildlife Association, which is where this comes from, is trying to promote and help people understand that you don't need a lot to share your life with wildlife, and it is so important for our general overall ecosystem to make it better for wildlife, and they in turn make it better for us. And the neat thing, and I'm going to promote this really, really quickly, is that there are 2 great books, one by the National Wildlife Federation and one by Dr. Douglas Tamanley. And both of these talk about bringing wildlife home. And if you kind of look through those, you can go to the library and get those. It'll kind of talk about how to provide these 4 factors. And you can get certified with the National Wildlife Federation with your backyard.
The difference between a novice and a professional is 1 book.
Is 1 book.
Read 1 book.
That's all it takes.
You're an expert master gardener, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's all it takes, just the desire to do it. And anybody who loves animals can do this and get a lot of pleasure out of it.
Well, how did you get started? I know you weren't born a natural backyard wildlife habitatter. Habitatter?
Yeah. Well, all my life I've been exposed to animals. My parents loved animals. We always watched all the shows, went to the zoos, and then after my undergrad degree, I went and got a master's in wildlife ecology.
Where at?
Mississippi State. And then went on to LSU, but for another degree. But basically, I learned in ecology the importance of every living species, whether it be plant or animal, and how we all rely on each other to make the earth work and
even
work
insects?
in a good way. Even insects. Insects are so good for us, and sometimes there are some that we would prefer not to have around, but everything has a place in the ecosystem. And all I'm trying to do is get us back to the basic ecosystem and nature, and try to not use chemicals, and just try to use predators instead of chemicals to kind of help you in your gardening.
If at all possible.
If at all possible.
Not always possible, but if at all possible.
Not always.
Well, this is a pretty new place. I know you built this big, beautiful house and bought this land just a few years ago. And so everything here that you've got is pretty new.
Yes.
You don't have anything that's been here 10, 15, 20, 30 years.
Right.
So everything we're going to look at today is going to be relatively new. Your vegetable beds, your flower beds. Now the lakes have been here longer than that.
Yes,
but,
they have.
Everything else is relatively new. So if somebody wants to do this, they're looking at something that's just a few years old, and it doesn't take long to get started.
One of the most frustrating things, I think, for new homeowners, whether you're going into an established home and a landscape or a new home where a lot of contractors tear down all the trees. Luckily, my contractor, because we had so many trees.
You didn't let him tear down.
I didn't let him tear them down,
yeah.
but he worked with me really, really well, trying to take down as few trees as possible. But beyond that, so you've got a structure. But it is frustrating because as a gardener, you want to get in there and you want everything to be perfect. Well, the first thing about gardening is it's never going to be perfect. The second thing is it's never going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. And I have no patience, so I've learned a little bit of patience.
I knew that.
Yeah, I know. But I've learned it a little bit from this. And what I've done, because we have so many acres here, I've kind of have an idea in my mind what I wanted to do, but I do a bed a year because pocketbook wise, that's all you can afford to do a lot of times, especially if you're doing it yourself time wise. But the key here is that, of course, I love animals and I want a wildlife habitat. So as I do the landscaping, you know, I'm thinking about how best to invite the wildlife into that landscape. So I'm keeping, every time I do a new bed, I look at what kind of plants am I putting in, what kind of animals am I going to attract, what kind of plants am I going to share with animals, you know, because that's part of it. Parsley.
Even raccoons in the corn?
Yes,
no?
and the caterpillars, because I want the butterflies. So that's kind of important. You have to be able to give up some of the perfectness of your garden to the animals if you want to share.
I know from the side over here, it's all natural. The weeds are all up, and
yes.
You haven't even mowed it or anything. I was ashamed to see it. No?
Yeah. Anyway,
we'll see that a little later.
Yeah, we have several hundred trees in our forested area, and we were mowing it. Weeds that tall, and we were mowing it until one day I realized that's stupid. One, you're mowing under trees, and you know we have a lot of wind, and I got hit by one of those limbs one day, almost killed me.
We don't have time for that story.
I know. But basically, if you let it go as natural as possible, then you're providing an environment for the animals, whether it be insects or small mammals or butterflies and birds. You know, so the more natural you can become in your wildlife or your gardening, the better off it is. And the other thing I wanted to say real quickly, because I know we're strapped for time, is even in suburban gardens, I know a lot of people love that grass, but the grass really is the least desirable environment for animals.
That's right. So
the least grass you have, and you don't want to mow it as a homeowner, the least grassy area you have, the better off everybody is.
Okay, now I know you're putting in a new bed down here. Let's go see that, and I got to see these lakes. We got some geese to see. We got a lot of stuff to do. So let's run down to the new bed, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Can I take my wine?
You can.
Eileen, this looks like your new bed. It looks pretty good down there. It's kind of rough down here. You haven't got... I know you did this for the show.
I did this especially for you, and most of your gardeners probably have a way they do beds, but I just wanted to share with them how I would do a new landscape bed, because this is kind of a new place. And this is a very boring bed. I originally started out with blueberry bush there, and one there, and one there, and one here, and one there. One died off, and it's coming back way over here, so I'm going to transplant it. And the other one, my husband decided to take the John Deere tractor and do away with it.
A lot of that.
Yeah, he backs up. So what I did on this bed was I'm making a berry bed, and it's very boring, and it's set up. The first thing I do normally is set it on paper if it's going to be anything intricate, and then I decide on a landscape bed what plants I want in there. So I'll plant them out, plot them out. And this one, it's pretty obvious. And the way I laid this out, the next step is to take something like my little rope there. It's a boat rope, but it's the best I had. A garden hose works fine, but I didn't have any to spare.
Most people don't have it long.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, you take this and you lay it out, and you see if you like the shape of it. And this I did, again, it's boring, but I did it especially for a lawnmower to be able to go to the outside. So after I do that, I then take and I spray down with spray paint around, okay? And then I pull this off. And then what I did, this was the beginning of the bed. You can see that. Did nothing to it. This part, I went ahead and weed eated to the ground, and then I round up. And up there I didn't round up, and I suffered for it because the weeds came back. I didn't put the mulch thick enough. So that's what I did on this section. The next section, we'll forget that part right here, but I tilled it up, okay?
That's just this tilled.
That's just that tilled. And then I added some fertilizer. Now I use an all-purpose 10-10-10. You can use a better one if you want to, but 10-10-10 works really well on the farm anywhere you go. And then what I did, I add some soil to it, okay? I have a front loader, and I have a pile of topsoil down there, and I try to raise it up a little bit. And then the next thing I do, because I have the front loader again and a whole pile down there of, what's that called? Mulch. I came up and I put the mulch on it before I put the flowers in. And the reason I do is because I'm lazy. I don't like to do things 100 times. And when you lay out, especially if it's an intricate landscape design with all of your flowers, then you have to worry about where you're throwing the mulch. With a front loader and a bare piece, you can just toss it in there and put it in on top. And then what I did was, when I came back to put the berry bushes in, I just pulled back the mulch.
So you mulch first, but most people do it the other way around.
Yes, they do. And
work.
And I've done it both ways, and I like this way better. It's a lot easier.
Sometimes I like it like that, sometimes. But if you don't have topsoil, you can get bags of sphagnum peat moss, manure, potting soil.
Yeah.
Mix it all in there.
Yeah, you can. You can.
So when we leave today, you're going to finish this up?
We are, because the front loader's still on the John Deere.
Waiting, and you can't mow the grass until you...
And I can't mow the grass, so I've got to get this done. Yeah.
Okay, I see the dock over there. Let's go feed the fish.
All right, we'll see if they'll come up.
Come on.
Okay.
Where's my wine at? I forgot. Lift it up. Now we're on the dock on the main lake.
Yes.
And what kind of fish have you got in this lake?
Mainly catfish. However, because it used to be a catfish kind of farming area here, but you also have bluegill, the shiners, notropis, minnows, those kinds of fish.
No bass?
We have bass. We have largemouth and smallmouth bass.
About.
And we also have carp, but not the bad kind of carp.
All carp are bad.
No.
They're invasive.
No. Not these guys. These are triploid carp, and they don't reproduce. They can't. Okay,
well,
genetically they can. I have them in there to make sure the vegetation stays to a minimum, so that we don't have issues. Yeah.
I can see down to the bottom almost right here.
Now, do you want to see if we find any fish coming out? It's a little warm.
How big are they?
Well, some of them are little, but some of them are big.
Do you eat these fish?
No, I don't like catfish.
You don't like catfish?
No, I just feed them. I feed anything that comes along. So if you're hungry, come to my house.
So you're going to throw some of this out there? What's going to happen?
Well, we'll see.
Sure?
Don't do that.
Go ahead and lean out. I'll hold you.
No. Normally they hear me coming, but I don't know if they'll come. Come on, guys. Uh-oh. No.
I heard Dan was here.
Yeah, they're not coming. See, we should have fed them before. They don't want to come.
On the dog. I can see them, a couple of them right there.
They're just not, it's too warm in the day. Normally,
here they come.
Here's a few of them. Come on, guys. See, you can see them coming from the side there.
They're so shy.
Yeah. Well, I really hate it, because we normally have about 50 or 60 of them come at one time.
Well, if we're real patient here.
Well, I don't know.
Will the bass come up here and eat them too?
No.
Just the catfish?
Just the catfish.
This is dog catfish food?
This is catfish food, yes.
I can't believe you don't eat catfish.
Well, you can come and eat them if you want.
What makes them jump like that? All of a sudden it's like they get scared or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you do this every day?
I do. In the summer. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I see the different colors on there. Some of them are white and some of them have...
Yeah, as catfish age, they kind of get like you with the gray
silver?
hair. Yeah, pretty silver. But they turn gray. Yeah. They'll become white. Yeah.
So you feed them every day? But
in
they're
the
okay without
summertime.
your feed. They don't need your feed, right?
Well, they are bottom feeders, so depending on what's on the bottom of the pond, whether or not it could sustain them.
Okay.
But we have so many in here that it may not be able to sustain them.
What else lives in the lake? Just not just the
Well,
fish.
we have of course frogs, and we have turtles. We have all kinds of butterflies and dragonflies. Again, insects.
Now, see, at my house, I don't have a lake, but I have some not puddles, but I have some places where the water collects. And I see the butterflies and all those, even the little frogs even.
That's right.
So you don't need to have a big lake.
No, you don't. I didn't at my other house. All I had was a little pond, a little ornamental pond. And it's one of those, if you build it, they will come type of thing. So the more you have, the more variety you can have of wildlife. But yeah, more are coming now. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there's a couple out there. Isn't there?
Yeah.
Now, they stay about the same size, or do they get
No,
to
they
be 10
get
feet?
Yeah, no, not 10 feet. But we have some that's probably about 5, 6, 7 pounds right now. They've only been in here a few years.
Now, do you allow kids to come down here and fish for them?
I allow almost anybody that comes down. If they want to eat them, then that's fine. I have a lot of people. I have a lot of people that throw them back. Yeah, I did have one group though. They kept coming every weekend. They bring all their family, and it almost fished me out. So I kind of had to put a stop to that. But
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people come and they fish, and it's kind of interesting because I feed them. They don't necessarily go to a lure on a hook.
Oh,
You know,
they're it's fat and sassy.
yeah,
not
they
hungry.
are. Nope, they're not. They're not that hungry. You can see some of them are pretty good.
You got a couple out there now.
Yeah, just a few. I really, they're all. It's so much fun to watch them because you can see them coming across the pond.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to be fed. But anyway.
Okay. Now you got some geese here. We're gonna go look at next.
Yes.
Okay.
We have geese.
Okay. That's quite a ways down the thing here, but Dan needs exercise. Let's go.
Okay. You guys, you disappointed me.
Eileen, the geese are behind us here.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Well, we can't get any closer right now, but we're gonna sneak up on them later. What in the heck do they eat?
Well, wildlife, I mean, in the field, they'll eat vegetation.
Grass?
They eat grasses, yeah. All the weeds that you don't like in your yard, they eat, which is one of the reasons why I kind of leave this area over here more wild, more natural. But I also, because I want to help them out and want to bring them closer to the house so I can see them on a daily basis, I feed them cracked corn. And it's relatively inexpensive, but they can eat you out of house and home. But the more you put out, the more I get to come up. So I have anywhere of this group here, I probably have about 30 geese a day that'll come up. And they trade out because there are different ponds around here that they'll fly in from other ponds as well.
Was that like that before you came to, or
When they were building my house, the geese raised 3 sets of geese raised children here, or little goslings, and those same 3 sets, I think, continue to bring them back.
You got more and more?
More and more. I have this year I saw one couple with 1, another couple with 7, and one with 9 little ones. And that's one of the reasons I like to bring them closer to the house so that I can watch the little ones grow up.
Now
and geese can be mean, by the way.
Now the average, I've seen them chase people on TV.
They chase each other.
Yeah. But the average person's not going to have geese. So the average person's going to have some birds, some squirrels,
little mammals,
possums, all those little things.
Yeah.
So what do they eat?
Well, again, the more natural that you can leave your yard, the better. Natives are good because the native plants, allowed the native wildlife to grow, so they've learned to eat whatever is there in the yard. And again, I go back to, I try to leave it as natural as possible, but wildflowers, native trees, the berries, the nuts. We have a lot of nut trees here, and the birds and the squirrels and little mammals, they all love that. So all I'm doing with my feeders up there is supplementing.
And attracting them to your house
and attracting them closer. You never really want to be their only source of food. That's really difficult for them, because one of these days you're not going to be there. So for that very species.
Now, I've seen raccoons, and I even had a gray wolf. I had a gray fox, I'm sorry. And skunks, all eating my bird,
Sure, it's easy
sunflower
food.
Seeds.
It's easy food. And by the way, black oil sunflower seeds are the most versatile food for birds.
Universal.
The more species like that particular seed than any other seed.
But we're going to find out that the yellow finches,
the finches, yeah,
like the really expensive stuff.
They do. They like the Niger thistle.
$30 for a little bag.
Yeah, it's expensive, but they also love the black oil sunflower seed as well. So sometimes I let the Niger seed go down. But again, and the thing is, some people tell you not to feed them in the summertime. I feed them all year round, and especially in the winter. But also you have to remember, provide them the water. And then of course we have a lot of trees and bushes and stuff for the cover and the raising of the young. And if you're a lazy gardener like me, if you're out in your yard and you have limbs and branches and stuff, don't haul them off. If you have a place in your yard, just go ahead and put those branches or those logs on that corner and crisscross them, and you can make homes.
I've got a pile like that, but I didn't intend it to be a habitat.
No, but you should, really, because you can have skanks, and they're beautiful blue little skanks and silver. It looks like a lizard.
I know what a skank is, but it's not an animal.
No, it's an animal.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a little lizard. And if you pull on their tail, they'll drop their tail.
A lot
of kids
really?
do that. Yes, it's like a little lizard, yeah. And they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I had one, I was moving compost, and I had that silver one, and it was about that long. It's just gorgeous. But go ahead and leave yourself a brush pile. And in the fall, I do this when I talk about the butterflies in my talks. Don't pick up all your leaf litter, because there are eggs and there are chrysalises, the pupa stage of some butterflies and moths, that overwinter. And if you clean everything up and your yard is just perfect,
like mine,
yeah, like yours, you won't have those animals. So, and if you want the moths and the butterflies, you're going to have to share with your life with the caterpillar, and your plants with the caterpillar, who is an eating machine.
And the honeybees. And we're going to take a picture of some honeybees up here on the lavender.
Yeah, they love lavender.
Are you ready to go up there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay.
This is one of your beds in the front of your house.
Yes.
And again, this is lavender. I even know that. But that plant wasn't here how many years ago?
3.
3 years ago. Pretty good sized lavender for 3 years.
Yeah.
And we're going to get some shots of this. I don't know if you can get it now, Dan, or not, but it's covered with bees and a few moths and butterflies. There's some honeybees on here, more honeybees on the small ones. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit different variety. There's some honeybees back here, some hives.
Yeah, my neighbor has about 7 hives.
7? Oh, that's work.
Yes, it is.
2's fun.
It is.
7's work.
It is. But I'm grateful for it, because every day, from sun up to sundown, you come out here, and if you just listen, and it's quiet out here too, you can just hear them work, and they are just amazing. I mean, look at how many, and of course I park my car here, and I'm always going right next to them. Yeah, and if anybody loves lavender, the greatest place to plant it is along a walkway, because as you touch it, that's all you do is smell the lavender.
You get stung.
No, I've never gotten stung by them, I promise. Now, over there is a different variety. It's a darker, and I can't remember what it is, but they love that lavender too, and that's just about 2 years old, that one. But over there is catmint.
It looks a lot similar.
It does look similar, but the plant is definitely, obviously different, but it smells like mint. And so if you like the smell of mint, the bees and butterflies and insects love that, and you have the smell of mint in it.
Tell it's a mint because it has a square stem.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it smells like mint.
Yeah.
And all of these are perennial. That's one thing. I use a few annuals, but mainly perennial, because again, I'm a lazy gardener. Once I plant it, I want to leave it alone. And I like spreading things. If you notice over here, they started out back here, my black-eyed Susans, Rebecca. And again, animals love that as well, insects, birds. The one thing you have to think about when you're thinking food for wildlife is you eat every day, all year
Almost,
long,
yeah.
all year long.
Believe it or not, I haven't eaten today yet.
Ooh,
I know.
that's amazing. Anyway, I know you. But all 4 seasons, so you want things constantly. Obviously, in the middle of winter, this isn't blooming, but there are other things that the insects and the animals can eat if they're not dormant. You think berries. I have a service berry tree over there. The birds love the berries. I have China hollies right here. Again, they love the berries on that. So in the off seasons, the winter and fall, they're going to be eating the berries that come into place. We talked about my berry bed down there. You know, I know people grow blueberries for themselves, but I'm going to share mine with the wildlife, you know, on purpose.
Now, the bees that we talked about them stinging,
yeah.
If the bees are collecting food like this, they are not going to sting you. They got their own business they're taking care of. I can put my hand through here. They're not going to bother me. So I didn't want to scare anybody into not whatever.
Yeah.
And you have to clear up one item there. Dan looked on his phone. A shank it's a shink, not a shank.
It's a skink.
Skink.
Not a skank. And I was thinking of you at the time, so I think that's why I did it. Tell them real quickly about the bird bath. Again, this is a water feature, guys. I mean, it's something as simple as just water. You know, a bird bath can be your water feature, especially in suburban gardens. So I have it here because the birds come up very close to the house, and I like to see my birds.
Shallow's better than deep.
Yes, and always, if it's deeper, you always want to put something in the middle, so in case a bird gets in there and gets wet and they can't fly out, they can crawl up on it.
Guess what my place loves it the best? My cats. They love to jump up. They jump up here and they do their drinking up here.
Yeah, we won't talk about cats outside and the damage they do to small mammals.
Have you seen hummingbirds yet?
I have hummingbird. I have a
perfect.
hummingbird feeder, and then this as well. And last year I had about 15 to 20 hummingbirds at any one time. I had 4 feeders running.
Now, does it have to be red juice?
Well, no, not red juice. No. Just the container is better if it's red because they're attractive.
Is it real expensive?
No. It's 1 to 4, 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of water, and makes the perfect hummingbird.
And if you do 1 to 4, the bees don't bother you too much.
That's true.
Well, this has been fun. We could spend a whole nother show here, and we may do that.
Yeah, well, no.
The square foot gardening and what have you. Okay. Thanks for coming today. The Master Gardeners, Eileen Duobinis-Gray. It's Bud Qualk, your host. Until next time, good gardening.
Bye, guys.